There we go. Okay, details, public, done, save, we're public. Okay, couple more steps, but it's okay. Boom. I think that's it. I think we did it. Fucking did it, boy. That's annoying. All right, we're back. Had some technical issues I had to figure out. Also, the Wi-Fi went down, and bunch of other bullshit that is irrelevant. So, good times. Oh man, that was fucking bullshit. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Are we lagging? I don't think we are. We're good now, though, right? Okay, we're good. I think we're getting there. We're there. This is fucking. Okay, anyways, that's a totally different. What? See, I got copyrighted on my last one. What do we even do? All right. Anyways, that was unfortunate. Back to what we're doing. Kind of, not really. Feel like I lost my viewers. Had to get it back up and running again. So that I didn't have to, like, figure it out tomorrow. So many technical issues that I'm like, oh my god. I just fucking wish everything was so easy, but it's not. Well.
Canadian media organization True North, which has been...
What should we watch? I feel like I'll get in trouble if I watch anything on this platform. Gotta move to Twitch. After we get 500 on YouTube, you know, move to Twitch. Yep. Well, not exclusively, but, you know. Am I even getting any chats right now? It's like fucking bored. Oh, what's up, Saka? You are here. Bro, that killed my soul. Oh my god, that was ridiculous. I kind of want to like call her a night after all the bullshit I just went through. I don't even know. Wi-Fi went down. Then I'm like sitting there struggling to get the stream back up. It's fucking bullshit. Bullshit. Oh well. Whatever. I'll just cut it till like when it gets good again. I'm like, I don't even know if it will get good again. Right. Being banned off TikTok is like a blessing and a curse. That was bullshit. All right. I'm just gonna find something to watch.
Oh yeah, 3 This Situation is Crazy titles in a week. Let's see if we can get 10 in a row, eh? And look, I'll stop using this algorithm cheat code when YouTube stops rewarding it. Until then, it's going to be used so that you can learn something that isn't mindless gossip for once. After this, do you see who Trump's got advising him? Laura Longlegs Loomer. What's she bringing to the table? Maybe she's bringing someone to something under the table. In case I wasn't clear, Trump to orgasm. Now, imagine Trump coming for a little longer. What sounds do you think he makes? I think he makes this sound. But we don't know. The only thing we do know for sure is that they'll be a hell of a lot louder if I was advising Trump under the table instead of...
See what I mean? It's so annoying. So goddamn annoying. Every time.
Oh yeah, 3 This Situation is Crazy time.
Alright, this is Friendly Jordies. I just want to watch this video because I'm fucking bored. And I'm kind of chapped that took a while.
Come on, just give me a job. But how is this free spirit possibly helping him? Oh, she's responsible for the amazing "they're eating the dogs" line at the debate. Too little, too late. Yet another reason why Trump needs... I'm the vanguard. I was on the hyperbolic claims of immigrants eating neighborhood animals months ago. In this video, look at me. I'm out on the scene showing everyone that he was right to bring it up. And now Trump has lost what he desperately needs. Unified support from the best people on earth. Yay, Milo, Nick Fuentes. You hear about this Nick Fuentes guy? He says he's going to be doing a Groiper War 2 on
See what I mean, sucker? Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Nick Fuentes. You hear?
Remember Nick Fuentes? Do we remember Nick Fuentes? Beautiful lad. Most beautiful lad in the land. Some might say the most beautiful. Peak alpha. Nick Fuentes, you know, hit that like button 30 minutes ago. We're like number 697. Make sure when you hit the subscribe button, you hit the all notifications so you get a notification when they go live or post a video like I did, where we're one of the first 7,000 people to be going through this. I miss this guy. I thought he was he tends to go off the map every once in a while. The down under. Down under? Down under? Fucking, what do you got Mads. Mads is like the only Australian we got that's like thick Australian. There's Kiwi, but she's Kiwi, you know. We don't really have many Australians, but oh well.
You read this Nick Fuentes guy? He says he's going to be doing a Groiper War 2 on Trump for not being
This right here, Groiper,
America first.
that word, that was how I lost my first TikTok account.
His guy. He says he's going to be doing a Groiper War.
That first word right there. You see that? That's how I got banned off TikTok. Using that word. They say it themselves. Jimmy once said that he's the king of groipers in Canada and was proud about it.
2 on Trump for not being America first enough. From what I can gather, Groiper War is where his supporters line up in suits at conservative conferences and ask questions of mainstream Republicans about Israel and immigration. You say you're America first, but what about all the money you give to Israel? My answer I'd give to Trump if I was advising him: I'm sorry, little Nicky, I don't speak Dago. We could neutralize that shit so quick. We'd do Groiper War 3 on Nick Fuentes for being a wog. Oh, boo-hoo, you've been deplatformed and you can't go to bank. We care about American jobs. This movement's called America First, not wogs out of work. I'm sorry for being too online, but you saw Trump at the debate. He's too online too. He needs help. He's flailing. He can't even pick a lane. Get me to Mar-a-Lago. I'll help him run a focus campaign. None of this pluralistic nativism. We're going to go full founding fathers. No more Catholics. Trump, you get asked a hairy question about abortion, ignore it. Pivot. You know who doesn't like abortions? Catholics. Joe Biden's a Catholic, and look at how creepy he is. Pastor Perfect economy. You know who else is Catholic? The Mexican. Groipers neutralized. Tick. Abortion position strategically ambiguous. Tick. Victory. Tick. Get me on the campaign. And by the way, this isn't some sneaky get around of pretending to be edgy and racist, but only picking on a subsection of white people that wokesters are cool with you picking on. I have a proven track record of bullying Italians to their mental breaking point. Okay? But I get it. Enough racism. What I really need to start getting into is ableism. So this video is about the National Disability Insurance Scheme. Enjoy!
Oh boy. That was
Well, we got there in the end with justifying the title. Now, if you can't figure out what the NDIS is from context clues, maybe you should apply to be on it, mate. But maybe you won't be allowed to, thanks to Bill Shorten's latest reforms. Over the decade of neglect from the self-proclaimed conservative economic managers, the Libs, the NDIS became this gigantic, exponentially growing pool of money, almost a mini black economy in itself, that was exploited by everyone from organised crime pretending to be disability care providers to me. I'm backing autism just to get checks. Now do you understand why I wasted half the video on Groiper references and 20 minutes on a Shapes review last week? It was necessary to keep up the payments. In fact, it was estimated that nearly 5% of the scheme is spent in error. That's $2 billion. $2 billion a year, or over $5 million a day. That's
so
enough.
This is why he gets firebombed. Because he gets a little bit too much, you know. Real investigative journalist here. This guy, absolute YouTube legend. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon. Very important. This guy doesn't upload often, but when he does, it's
to feed your mum for half a day. Providers could even invoice the scheme without an ABN. In some cases, they push participants to use the scheme to purchase illegal drugs. It was the Wild West. Instead of steeds, wheelchairs. Instead of lassos, those pulley hoists to lift mobile people out of bed. That's actually not true, because that would be perfectly valid costs for the NDIS, and it's not disabled people exploiting the scheme. It's Catholics. Let's be real, it's the 21st century, it's libs. As well as any old idiot who wants free money, listen to this story.
An unemployed Ocean Grove man has been jailed for stealing more than $300,000 by pretending to mow lawns for people with a disability.
This guy stole $300,000 from the NDIS and said in court, thinking it would be a mitigating factor, it was because he was bullied for being fat. Now, to be fair, that kind of did work for Barilaro, but come on, at least make it so if you want to scam the NDIS, you can't literally be mentally disabled. You have to be smarter than that man. That's what Bill Shorten, like any remotely competent minister, is doing. He saw this fraud and waste at the expense of not only Australian taxpayers, but really the disabled, and launched some reforms. Reforms to rein in criminal exploitation of the scheme to make it sustainable in the long term. These were not austere Thatcherite reforms either. They're legit, simple things such as, you want to be a disability services provider? Okay, can you prove that you're a real person? Can you give us an ABN? Can you show us you're working with children check?
What's wrong with asking that everyone who's driving someone, that we see their driver's license and that they've got car insurance? What's wrong with asking that if you're going to work with kids, that you've got to work in with children's check? In fact, what's wrong with asking, are you a real person and do you exist?
She'd like clarifying, sorry, you can't get the NDIS to pay for...
I'm like frustrated with all of this stuff that I have to do. It's annoying. It's annoying. So I'm like figuring it out. It's been lovely hang out with you. I'm gonna keep watching random shit until I get really bored. Then I don't really care right now. Just gonna be alive. Otherwise, I'm gonna fucking go live on Monday and I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I didn't do nothing. So gotta go live. Gotta get back into it. It's been 3 days. No slacking around here. Oh boy. Oh, I fucking hate this shit sometimes. It's rough.
Your OnlyFans subscription. Though there might be an exemption if your disability is chronic agony. You can't claim vapes, alcohol, jewelry, fortune telling, Reiki healing, aromatherapy, cuddle therapy. Actually, that is BS. Bill, can you put tarot reading back on the scheme? That way disabled people can know if their condition's going to be permanent or temporary. It'll help you budget better. I could start up as a provider, advertise play therapy for people with Down syndrome, charge a government hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the play therapy is just tying up 100 people with Down syndrome, putting them under a big tarp in a big field and seeing where the tarp goes to satisfy my own curiosity. What, you Twitter types are gonna say I'm punching down? Syndrome. No, seriously, sorry, I promise I'm not punching down. Because these people with Down syndrome in my joke are also rich white men. If that's not enough, some are Nazis. In response to these reforms, the Greens have been running the most disingenuous opportunistic campaign since, well, pick any other issue they whinge about, really. I mean, that's all they do now. They used to at least wedge the major parties on specific issues to try and extract pro-environment outcomes. Now they just ratchet up professional managerial excesses and language policing of labour and then scream and block any reform that benefits working people just so they can turn around and say, this government hasn't, passed anything that's benefiting working people. Look at their website. Their electoral platform includes end sexism, and building an anti-racist society. That's what's so disappointing. You think for a party that never has to deal with the realities of governing, they'd at least have creative and effective messaging that has a chance to set an agenda. They could at least be like a Bernie Sanders figure that has constructive and focused criticism, get maybe one amazing concession. But instead, their messaging is now just appealing to the narcissistic impulses of those that live with the luxury of never having to deal with the consequences of their own actions. Their politics is now just a sick form of therapy therapy.
Not funded by the NDIS, Stacey Shorten's reformed.
Sloganeering designed to displace the guilt, shame, and neurosis of those people who live surrogate lives. When it's not that, it's just disingenuously campaigning against everything Labor does. I get campaigning against some things, but fucking everything? Look at this. Save our NDIS. From what? The guy that created the NDIS? I wish I could debunk this webpage, I really do, but it doesn't actually say anything. Just that there's a budget surplus, so Labor trying to make the NDIS sustainable is bad. Just use the surplus to pay for the criminals' fake claims. I actually can't believe how opportunistic this is. This is a new low even for the Greens. The NDIS is going to be receiving more funding than ever. It's growing every year. These are reforms designed to stem some of the completely unnecessary excesses of the scheme, taking measures to stop crime and spinning them as Labor's gutting the NDIS. They started spreading a lie that Labor's bill will stop disabled people from buying critical aid using, this is true, bespoke high-tech washing machines as an example of something Labor banned. This is despite disability experts even casting doubt on the idea that there are bespoke high-tech washing machines for the disabled. There are examples of fire alarms. People have specialized fire alarms that vibrate or have flashing lights to wake you up. Those sorts of things are critical. But whether there are high-tech washing machines and they're finishing their washing, that's hardly a life and death thing. You could just set the timer and go back in an hour. And there's a substitution clause in the bill that means that if someone really does need a bespoke high-tech washing machine, they can still get it. The Greens even went so far as to accuse NDIS's integrity and fraud chief of inventing a narrative of fraud just to support Bill Shorten's corked legislation. First off, guys, you're senators. Can you use grown-up language? Or at the very least, don't use ugly Triple J millennial words? Please go full senator payment.
To the Sigmas of Australia, I say that this goofy air government have been capping, not just now, but for a long time. A few of you may remember when they said there'll be no phantom tax under the government I lead. They're capaholics. They're also yapaholics.
Just keeps going on like that.
Skibbity.
Again, Trump, hire me. I am the vanguard of political advising. A month ago, I was pleading for a different ex-Labor politician to start using brain rot vocab. I'm gonna go good now. Secondly, I know that was a big detour, but talk about actually making up a narrative. The NDIS fraud chief is lying in cahoots with the guy that made the NDIS just to fuck over the disabled. Because everyone's evil and cooked apart from the Greens, especially rich people, even though they are the Greens' main demo. Have the Greens ever said anything about the new bill cracking down on providers overcharging the disabled? Have they got a plan to tackle the organised crime that is exploiting the NDIS? No. But Trump does. Support all Catholics, Trump 2024. And thank you, Bill Shorten, 2024. Seriously though, honestly, Bill, thank you so much for your service over the years. The fact that you have been able to rein in such a complicated system as that does show what a loss it is going to be once you're gone. Skibbity.
No, is that too cringe?
Yes, but who cares?
Always love hearing from the land down under, you know? Fucking friendly Geordies tuning in. Damn, bro. That was a lot. And I am not in the mood for fucking life right now. I do kind of want to turn my stream off, but I'm also like, I kind of want to keep going. Just because, like, it's YouTube, so it's kind of fun. I need, like, a break. I need the government to put those fucking Zins back into goddamn convenience stores for me, and then I'll be, like, so happy. But no. That take away what's good in life, make it more complicated. The fuck, bro? Okay, what we got going on here? Sorry, I'm like just checking shit. Oh, I hate this shit. Okay. Got. Bruh. YouTube is annoying. I hate YouTube, but I love it at the same time. Oh my god. Why they gotta make it so well, I kinda know. Because it's goddamn YouTube, that's why. Can't believe I'm still wearing this goddamn mega hat. Back. I just want to take it off. But I'm also like, it's kind of funny. Just confuse people. Oh boy. What to do? What to do? Oh, fuck it. Rain is like dead. That intermission was brutal. Just wanted it to be over. And then now that it's over, I'm like,
Law enforcement speaking about what is being investigated as a possible second attempted assassination of former President Trump at a golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida. The Trump campaign releasing a statement just after 2 p.m. Eastern. President Trump is safe following gunshots in his vicinity. No further details at this time. Good evening.
This developing story that
lame. Is this where they start releasing the information from the last assassination attempt? Or like, okay, at least give me some TV. Like, the fuck? The fuck, FBI?
Police today released body cam footage of the moment they arrested the man they say planned to assassinate former President Trump while he was golfing. And today it's being asked, how did a gunman get that close to the former president just 2 months after another failed assassination plot? Stephen Fabian's in Palm Beach, Florida with the latest.
It's the moment Donald Trump's accused would-be assassin is taken into custody. Ryan Wesley Ruth walks backward.
Bruh. These people do not look prepared. Like, yeah, this guy just tried to assassinate the president of the United States. Like, look at this guy's body posture in the black. He's just sitting there like it's another fucking Tuesday. Like, yo, what up? Anything gonna happen? You know? Yeah. Like, this dude just standing there. He's the fucking intern. They're like, yeah, okay, this dumbass kid, go out there. Yeah, have fun. Like, go put the handcuffs on you, fucking dumbass. Why'd you want to become a cop?
Would-be assassin is taken into custody. Ryan Wesley Ruth walks backwards, his shirt over his head to show he's not carrying any weapons.
He never said anything. We kept body camera rolling the whole time.
Martin County Sheriff William Snyder supervised the capture.
He was very calm. His demeanor was one I've characterized as consistent with somebody who was on their way to a late church service on a Sunday. Not somebody who just fired at the former president of the United States.
He says Ruth never uttered a word.
Put him in the back seat.
Bruh. Just like, hey, just came down here to Florida, try to assassinate the president of the United States, you know. America. The fuck? She's like, yeah, okay, good game. Like, dude, this guy, people like talk about conspiracies from like Russia and shit. This dude's a lizard person, okay? Something bad about to happen. He coming back from the future. Like, look at this guy. Does he not look like he's from the future? He's just like, got this like, I'm just kidding.
Handcuffed, kept the door open, just in case he made a spontaneous utterance. He didn't.
Ruth was apprehended 45 minutes after he fled Trump's West Palm Beach golf course, where cops say he lay in wait like a sniper for 12 hours. Authorities say cell phone records show that Ruth was at the golf club at 2 a.m. on Sunday. He simply parked his SUV and walked through those bushes where he set up a sniper's nest. In this exclusive video, you can see how thick the foliage is. His hiding place was between the 5th and 6th holes. It appears to be the same spot photographers use to take photos of Trump when he's golfing. Look how close they can get, about 300 yards from Trump. At 1:30 p.m., a Secret Service agent who was one hole ahead of Trump spotted a gun barrel sticking out of the chain link fence and fired.
The subject, who did not have line of sight to the former president, fled the scene. He did not fire or get off any shots at our agent.
Trump was playing golf with real estate tycoon Stephen.
I don't know. This guy seems to take the job a little bit more serious than the last person. Like, holy fuck. He's like, yeah, America. That last person, she sucked. It was terrible. Not gonna happen again, Mr. President. Like, damn, bruh. Got some fucking. This guy means business. Look at that little cow lick. He's.
Our president fled the scene. He did not fire or get off any shots at our agent.
Trump was playing golf with real estate tycoon Stephen Witkoff, who spoke at the Republican National Convention about his friendship with Trump.
A true and dear friend for many, many years.
Fox News Channel Sean Hannity says Witkoff told him they dove for cover when the shots rang out.
Wait, Sean Hannity still works for Fox? I thought he got fired too. It was just Tucker Carlson? God damn it. Sean Hannity's still around? God damn, bro. I feel sorry for America. Holy fuck.
Once again threw themselves on him to shield him from any bullets. A replay of the other assassination attempt 9 weeks ago in Pennsylvania.
He told me what had happened, and he said that 4 shots had gone off. They heard it. It was pop, 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 pop. That's how he described it. And he was absolutely, positively blown away by how quickly the Secret Service got on the president, got him off the golf course.
Cops say Ryan Wesley Ruth fled, leaving behind his gun, 2 backpacks, and a GoPro camera positioned on the fence. He then hopped in his SUV and started driving down this road towards I-95, but a sharp-eyed witness spotted him.
A witness that came to us and said, hey, I saw the guy running out of the bushes. He jumped into a black Nissan, and I took a picture of the vehicle and the tank, which was great.
The FBI issued a BOLO, be on the look.
Yeah, that's great. You know, glad you guys are relying on the American citizens of Florida to protect the president. Wow. Can you imagine if that was in New York? Would have been a different story. Those New Yorkers would have just been like, yeah, fuck off. Florida, they're like, that's my president. He's still president of the United States. He's our president. You know, they glorify him in Florida. Just I can't believe they're just like relying on the the way that he says it's great is not convincing to me.
He jumped into a black Nissan, and I took a picture of the vehicle and the tank, which was great.
The FBI.
Amazing. Remember, this is a citizen sending if this was the last time, I think he probably could have just got away real quick. They would have been like, shoot her on the loose in Florida. A Florida man. Well, actually, he was from Hawaii, but goddamn America.
Issued a bolo. Be on the lookout.
Once we saw the vehicle, we followed it safely until we could get enough vehicles around it, forced it to stop, and then got the suspect at a gunpoint.
Trump was whisked away back to the safety of Mar-a-Lago. I would like to thank everyone for your concern and well wishes. It was certainly an interesting day, he writes on social media. He was still wearing his golf clothes when he posed for this photo with Speaker of the House Mike Johnson and his wife.
Spent about 3 hours with him. He was in very good spirits, as you might expect.
Some might say he's... Okay. Not gonna say anything. Don't want to be canceled. Oh wait, never mind. We're good. We're good. Nothing happened. He's good. Don't worry, guys. This time, I'm just saying, like, this is how he poses in front of a fucking gravestone of a veteran that he's not supposed to use to campaign, but he used to campaign anyways, so you never really know with this guy, you know? They told him to stop, he didn't stop, he just kept going. He's like, nah, I'm good. The family asked me to do it. The military asked you not to, but you did it anyways, because you're the military president, right? God bless America. It's a beautiful thing.
That's who he is. He's so resilient, and we were really grateful to see him.
Today, many are asking, how could someone get so close to the former president?
The Secret Service leadership has failed yet again because the resources that are required to protect President Trump are still not there.
But golf courses are especially difficult to secure, says former FBI agent Richard Frankel.
The border of almost every golf course is very expansive and very open. It's almost impossible to cover every area of a golf course's border to make sure that no one comes in. You cannot control the borders of a golf course.
I got an idea. Yeah, you could. Are you kidding me? This is fucking America. You can't control the borders of a golf course, but you expect to control the borders of America? Oh my God. Bro. This is embarrassing. You can't even control the borders of your goddamn golf course. Did you hear what he just said? Did you hear that?
Almost impossible to cover every area. Very expansive and very open. It's almost impossible to cover every area of a golf course's border to make sure that no one comes in. You cannot control the borders of a golf course. Or if you do, it's going to take an extreme amount of manpower.
Trump's family is shaken by this latest threat.
No fucking shit. No shit, you know? It's the president, you know? Like, you guys want the president to, you know, be protected at all times, so protect the fucking president. Are you fucking kidding me? Has Biden considered like lowering the budget for Israel and maybe increasing the budget for himself, Kamala, and Donald Trump? Has maybe that would be maybe a start. I don't know, just a suggestion. I'm just saying it probably be a good place to start. You can't even fucking control the golf course. I can't believe this shit. That fucking fence almost kept him out, too. Like, what was that fucking fence, bro? You can't defend a golf course. They say, look at this shit.
Not control of a golf course's border to make sure that
Look
no
at this
one.
goddamn fence. It's literally just a fucking... Donald Trump is cheap, man. Like, I don't even think that shit has spikes on the top. You just sit in the fucking trees. Like, can you imagine in like World War I, World War II times? Like, it is impossible to it's freaking impossible to barricade this golf course. And then you got these fucking dangly little fucking fences. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, actually, what the fuck am I looking at? Just some fucking... It's that easy. Oh, this is embarrassing. This is an embarrassing photo. 12 hours. They didn't secure the perimeter. Like, it's impossible to like walk around the perimeter or like get a drone with a heat gun to like, you know, you get the heat gun going and you just see if there's any bodies laying in suspicious, you know, positions or like in places that they're not supposed to be. You know, it could be anything. I guess that could be what they did, but like, they said, from what I've heard, it was the whole, they go a hole ahead and then it would take so much manpower. Got to protect a golf course. How are you going to keep the fucking Mexicans out of America if you can't even keep a fucking sniper out of your golf course, bro? No offense, but like, get real. The fuck? Your wall didn't work.
Are still not there.
But golf courses are especially difficult to secure, says former FBI agent Richard Frankel.
The border of almost every golf course is very expansive and very open. It's almost impossible to cover every area of a golf course's border to make sure that no one comes in. You cannot control the borders of a golf course, or if you do, it's going to take an extreme amount of manpower.
Trump's family is shaken
Dude,
by
he
this.
did not have to throw that in there at the end. Like, he gave like a thesis to his fucking statement. Like, he could have just left it, but no, he just has to throw in at the end this fucking ChatGPT response.
To cover every area of a golf course's border to make sure that no one comes in. You cannot control.
What is that, 420? Okay.
A golf course's border to make sure that no one comes in.
So at like 4:18, this is a beautiful, beautiful moment for me here. I'm gonna definitely capture that timestamp. This is, what am I looking at? How can you not? I can't even.
You cannot control the borders of a golf course, or if you,
bro, look at this.
No one comes in. You cannot control the borders.
They did the FBI dirty here. Look at this fucking shit. It's bent down. Like, what is it? The environment? They're worried about the environment or something in fucking Florida. Like, look at that shit. It's not even. Oh my god. Bro, get some fucking razor wire. Bro. Like, actually. Like, electric fence, anything. Literally anything. You could have done literally anything. Okay. Copy image. Like, we could have done anything to avoid this. It's literally this easy. This is all you got to do. Just image. Like you get some of this shit on there. Okay, like we got this and then we got this. Why is it taking so long? What the fuck, bro? There's this, right? And then there's this. This is what they put on the border to like kill babies and like innocent people. And then this is what they use to protect the president of the former president of the United States running this is what they use to protect him. He's already had one assassination attempt. And this is what they use at the borders, right? But they don't even have this fence. They just put razor wire so that, like, you know, some migrant that's never seen razor wire before just bleeds out on the side of a river. You know, that's what they use at the border. Interesting. Yeah, you know, it's really impossible. Really fucking impossible to actually like protect this golf course. They did this fucking FBI agent so dirty with this shot. Like, one more time.
Order to make sure that no one comes in. You cannot control the borders of a golf course, or if you do, it's going to take an extreme amount of manpower. Borders of a golf course, or if you do, it's going to take an extreme amount of manpower of a golf course, or if you do, it's going to take an extreme amount of manpower. A golf course is bordered to make sure that no one comes in. You cannot control the borders of a golf course, or if you do, it's going to take an extreme amount of manpower.
Trump's family is shaken by this latest threat on his life. His son Eric Trump saying today, "My father is running out of lives."
That hurt my brain. That hurt my brain to look at. It doesn't even make sense. It's like they want him to be assassinated. I'm starting to believe the theories. They could do so much. They could do so much. Like, I don't know. Okay, let's actually use ChatGPT 3. There's two better versions, but you know, what could one do to protect Mar-a-Lago for cheap, considering they haven't even updated the fence to be electric or at all a deterrent in any capacity? Maybe he just gets the fucking Wish version, you know? Alright. Yeah, see, I'm smart. They should hire me for the FBI. Height extensions? Whoa. Couldn't have thought of that. Install motion sensing lights. Whoa. It's a huge amount of manpower. That would almost cost like maybe like $100,000. Or like maybe even like $1 million. Whoa. And like canines? Oh, can you imagine if they had canines? That would be animal cruelty, you know? Who wants to have canines around when you're golfing? They might chase the golf ball. Security cameras, just basic security cameras, you know, that would also probably help. Signage and visible deterrence. Yeah, like I don't know, like when you have a prison, I feel like if China can build a hospital in a day, then maybe the Secret Service could build a fence in a day, you know? It just seems like something that you'd be able to do. Like, what the fuck am I even This is embarrassing. And they're trying to play it off like it's some fucking W. Like, good job, guys. Good job, team. How much money did that cost you? Like a couple $100 million and you accomplished nothing? Good job. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we do need Elon Musk to like save the government, you know? Maybe Elon Musk and Trump is a good thing if Trump wins. They can like, Elon can be the brains and then Trump can be the pretty face. I'm feeling it. Why don't they pick Elon to be the vice president? Doesn't seem very democratic. They should be more democratic and make it so that the people vote for the vice president. I come with receipts, buddy. Lisa Bella's released a video.
Hey, let's take a minute.
Oh my god. Can I just skip to the Lisa Bella part? I just want to watch the this seems like it's going to be like doxy and weird. So we're just going to not. The fuck did I just stumble upon?
Oh boy, if you thought things couldn't get any worse, well, they just did. In case you don't know what's happening, MrBeast, KSI, and Logan Paul recently launched another crappy product called Lunchly, a more cancerous version of Lunchables. This has made OG YouTubers like DanTDM, Jacksepticeye, and iBallisticSquid pretty
Some
mad
AI
because it's blatantly
generated
exploiting
bullshit.
kids. I have
I'll be
huge
right
respect
back.
for these YouTubers. I grew up watching them, and I bet most of you did too.
Fucking
If they've had enough and are starting to speak out against
TikTok
MrBeast,
scientists.
Logan Paul, and KSI,
subscribe
then these guys are probably crossing the line here. I mean, what happened to the good old days when the worst thing you did was sell shitty merch made by kids in China? Now you're trying to poison kids? Then who's gonna work at the factories, man?
What do you mean by that?
These guys are already billionaires and still hungry for more money, even at the cost of their fan base's health. They're targeting little kids, though to be fair, Chris Tyson did that too, but, you know, not that type of targeting. After all, he's part of MrBeast's crew. You know what I mean, right?
Whoa, calm down, Jamal. Don't pull out the 9.
After Dan called them out, telling them to stop selling crap and do better, it made MrBeast, Logan Paul, and KSI, the 3 biggest crybabies, very angry. Let's start with the biggest child exploiter, the lottery man himself, Mr. Krabs' cousin, MrBeast. He tweeted, "Lunchables sells hundreds of millions of units and countless people eat it. Our goal is to give people a better-for-you alternative." Wait, let me stop you right there, Mr. Casino Man. Isn't this the same guy who literally said in the past that he wants to help people and create healthy products? You know, instead of selling junk like everyone else. And what does he do? He starts a burger chain, makes a chocolate bar, which at first he claimed had less sugar than Hershey's, then secretly changed the recipe to make it worse than Hershey's, worse than a can of Coke. My question to Mr. I Don't Fake My Videos is, how are you this shameless? You just got caught in 4K changing the recipe of one of your products to make it worse, after advertising it as a healthier option. How are you still saying you're giving a better alternative? It's funny how they're comparing it to Lunchables, acting like they're doing us a favor by saying, "Don't eat that crap, eat our crap instead." Oh wait, that sounded a bit wrong, but you get the point. Jokes aside, this man goes on to say, "Our turkey meal, for example, has 80 fewer calories, 60% less sugar, more electrolytes, we use real cheese, they use cheese product, they can't even call it cheese, higher quality meat, etc." Once again, He's throwing around buzzwords like more electrolytes to fool people. There are already hundreds of videos on YouTube debunking this, showing how it actually lacks the more necessary electrolytes. This man really thinks he can throw any garbage product at us, and we'll just praise him for it. Let's take a look at some of the comments. Mr. Beast, you should feed children toxic waste and give me $10,000. I mean, he basically is. If you release this product, I will kill myself. 46K likes. Damn, that's a lot of people angry at Mr. Lunchley over here. Agree that this is slightly less unhealthy, but it's like selling organic cigarettes to smokers and calling it a positive impact.
I don't even have 500. Fuck me. The fuck is this? Like, you know how you watch this shit? Like this.
Yeah, exactly. Finally, people are opening their eyes to how these three goblins from Clash of Clans are just here to exploit
so
us.
much
Mr.
better.
Rest, give me $1 million. Damn, this guy's really down bad. Jacksepticeye also weighed in, and I called it in my last video. But before we get to that, let's see how YouTube's biggest crybaby, KSI.
Don't care. Don't care. Goddamn. Fucking AI generated bullshit. To listen to that bullshit. Sorry about that. This is some fucking bullshit. I don't know what the fuck that was. Trudeau or Polya. I kind of want to watch this. I'm going to add that to watch later.
Sean Diddy Combs has been denied bail and could face life in prison after being charged with sex trafficking. The rapper is accused of using his business to perpetrate sex crimes, though he has pleaded not guilty. It is alleged many of them happened at parties called freak-offs.
Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics.
Combs' lawyer says he will fight the charges, but a proposed $73 million bond wasn't enough to secure his release until his trial begins.
Fucking loser. Loser. Wonder if they'll lock him up with R. Kelly. And just be like buddies in the PC or whatever the fuck it's called. Bruh. 4-hour video. Let's go. Let's go. What the fuck am I looking at?
These are the 20 wildest moments in NHL history. Oh my. And at number 20, Patrick Roy forgot he was supposed to be the goaltender.
Rangers with a 4-1. Look at Patrick. Look at this. What's this? He's out of his mind. There's a penalty now. He carried the puck over center ice. You can't do that as a goal.
Got hit right in the face. That reminds me of number 7, the time Ty Domi hit a fan.
Okay, there we go.
As well. These fans were literally sleeping in their seats. Nobody just couldn't find the back of the net. And when there was a minute left in the 4th overtime, everybody started to think that the game would never end. But then, a mouthguard chewing kid rose from the shadows and ended the game with 12 seconds left in the 4th overtime.
Bro, I just want to see the fucking thing fall.
12 and 7/10 seconds remaining in overtime.
That's all I want.
What a save! Here's Clifford, stopped by... And of course, the Leafs fan. Hey man, chill out! It was an unforgettable moment for Ayers. Another unforgettable moment was number 3, when the Sabres Jumbotron fell from the ceiling and crashed onto the center ice. It was a game day in Buffalo between the Sabres and Bruins. After the teams had finished their morning skates, a cable snapped on the 40,000-pound scoreboard, sending it flying straight to the ice. Luckily, nobody was on the center ice at the time and wasn't hurt. Buffalo was forced to play the next 2 weeks without a Jumbotron before getting it replaced with a new one. But that isn't even the only crazy thing happened in Buffalo. I mean, at number 2, the Sabres literally drafted a player that didn't exist. The Sabres front office were tired of the draft being so long, so these guys decided to troll everyone and draft a made-up Japanese player, Taro Tsumoto, as their 11th round pick.
It was excruciating. I can't stand this anymore. I said, why don't we draft somebody that doesn't exist? That'll drive me crazy. Tsumoto. Well, no one ever heard of him. Of course. We vowed then not to tell anybody that it was a joke.
Man, I would have wanted to see that draft with my own eyes. But something you definitely want to see is the wildest comeback in NHL history at number 1. Stephen steals and he'll ice it. Oh, at least I thought he was gonna. Hemsky lose. Hemsky. The most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Patrick Stephen, you should be embarrassed for what you just did. He makes a remarkable move, and the Oilers somehow are going to send this game to overtime with 2 seconds left. That's the most embarrassing thing I've seen in the National Hockey League ice. I didn't even know it was possible to miss an empty netter that
I
badly.
remember that.
But something you definitely
was
don't want
wild.
to miss are the most disrespectful moments in NHL history. Go ahead,
Okay.
man, click it.
I just want to see the Jumbotron fall. It was lamer than I thought. Sup, Kiwi Bird. Oh, not bad. How are you?
In recent years, as we have been actively engaging in war, things the government used to do is now being done by private companies.
Food, laundry, and housing were services provided within the military.
Now we're in Iraq, you still need a lot of support mechanisms, and there's just not enough military infrastructure to do this. Private contractors come in and they fill the gap.
Well, I saw contractors in Iraq doing anywhere from helping fix tanks, helicopter mechanics, pretty much any job that's in the military, there's a civilian contractor right there.
There are over 100,000 private contractors working in Iraq, Kuwait, and the surrounding area.
This war has been privatized to a greater extent than any other war in history.
They're part of a multi-billion-dollar industry fueled by your tax dollars, an industry very much in need by the U.S. military.
40 cents out of every dollar Congress controls now goes to contractors.
There's more than 20,000 private military on the ground.
We have the second largest armed force in Iraq, or private security. They outscale the Brits or any other nation.
Blackwater is one of the largest and most conspicuous security firms in Iraq, with about 300 employees there.
I don't know, maybe.
Blackwater is staffed largely by retired U.S. military, including former members of the Special Forces.
Scotty was told that he would be doing security for Paul Bremer, the ambassador, that he would just go everywhere Paul Bremer went, and there would be usually like 3 8-hour shifts. And that was fine with Scotty, because he didn't go over there to hurt anyone. He was there to protect people.
Watch out. I don't want you to get underneath me when I'm climbing. You might get hurt. Hey, Kelsey.
He just had an incredible way with sports. Even as a small child, he was the best swimmer on the swim team. He was amazing. First time he ran away from home, I think he was 6 months old. And somehow he'd gotten the front door open and he was in his walker. And I'm getting ready for work and he's hauling tail down this hill, heading for the playground. And it just totally stunned me. And he was like that for the rest of his life. He was always running. Scotty went into the Navy on his 17th birthday. He loved being a SEAL.
Oh, what's falling down?
As far as Scotty going to Iraq, he chose Blackwater because they had a 2-month contract. And Scotty wasn't going to have to be away from his kids very long. He needed to make some money.
My son called me and he told me that he was going to Kuwait with Paul Bremer, the ambassador in Iraq. I still have little soldiers in a shoebox that he used to play with. Those were his favorite toys.
Love boys.
What?
This is Jerry this time.
Oh,
That's my favorite picture for talking. That's
And Jerry always
4 or 5.
carried it with him. Always. Wherever Jerry went, he had that picture with him. That was my Jerry. Then came my Tammy, then my niece Anita, then my nephew Yuri.
Yes, everything's
then
my hockey insurgents or maybe
cared about.
They knowingly skimped on the mission. They cut corners left and right.
Shame for country, shame for Blackwater, shame for rule, Blackwater.
What happened to them while they were with this company, not the American military, this company, had responsibilities that they didn't live up to. And our family members died because of that.
the most dangerous city on earth. No rear gunner, no armored vehicles, not even a map. That's, to me, negligent homicide.
They were just numbers for them.
Just people who they can bill for.
This is a situation that was in the front page of the news, that was leading various network broadcasts for several days, and how that company managed that challenge will really dictate the future of that company. The first focus has to be for any company that finds itself in the type of crisis that Blackwater found itself in is, what do we need to do to preserve the financial business future of this company? This is a company whose success, economic success, is completely contingent upon funding from the US government. Within the first 24 hours, Blackwater hired a DC lobbying firm called Alexander Strategies Group. ASG is one of those small
Damn, bro, I'm like getting lag where I can't even pause it.
handful of firms in 2000. This is a situation that was in the front page of the news, that was leading various network broadcasts for several days, and how that company managed that challenge will really dictate the future of that company. The first focus has to be for any company that finds itself in the type of crisis that Blackwater found itself in is, what do we need to do to preserve the financial business future of this company? This is a company whose success, economic success, is completely contingent upon funding from the US government. Within the first 24 hours, Blackwater hired a DC lobbying firm called Alexander.
Sorry, I'm taking notes. What's it called? Alexander Strategies Group. Lobbying. I want to go here. And then, what's the date?
Hours upon funding from the US government. Within the first 24 hours, and upon the financial business future of this company. This is a company whose success, economic success, is completely contingent upon funding from the US government. Within the first 24 hours, Blackwater hired a DC lobbying firm called Alexander Strategies Group. ASG is one of those small handful of firms in 2004 that was part of the Republican conservative club. Blackwater itself, in particular its CEO and founder, Eric Prince, has longstanding ties to the conservative movement, particularly on the Christian Coalition side, had been very generous with his campaign contributions over the years. He and his family contributed over $2 million to Republican candidates and the Republican Party.
Talk to you, okay? Thank you. I'll ask you some questions about your men in Fallujah. What happened there, sir?
Fallujah happens the last day of March. Within 24 or 48 hours after that, they're literally on the Hill meeting with some of the most powerful members of Congress who really were going to dictate what was going to happen to this company in terms of its funding. They went to John Warner, who was the chair of the Armed Services Committee on the Senate side. They went to Duncan Hunter, who was a congressman from San Diego, who was the chair of the Armed Services Committee on the House side. They met with Rick Santorum, who was chair of the Republican Senate Conference Committee, which is a very, very powerful post.
Contractors are among those who have been taken hostage. They've also suffered terribly, injuries and loss of life. The most horrific of which occurred on April 13th of this year, Madam President, when the bodies of 4 contractors were burned, mutilated, and hung from a bridge in Iraq. Should we step up and try and do something about that problem?
We will have to have very vigorous opposition to this amendment as it is presently drawn.
The Blackwater strategy worked very, very well. They went to Washington, they stopped any investigations from taking place, and at the end of the day, as a result of their action, they were able to protect their business. They went out and they retained former high-ranking government officials, Cofer Black, who was a high-ranking official at the Central Intelligence Agency, Joseph Schmidt, who was the Inspector General at the Pentagon, and undoubtedly, when you go out and you retain high-ranking officials like that, they certainly are helpful in attracting new business, pursuing new business, and getting new contracts. Within a year after the Fallujah incident, they had received over $200 million in new government contracts.
People in Washington who leave government and go to work in lucrative jobs for defense industry, they have connections. They have influence.
Business boomed. They just built a brand new headquarters.
That's a big expansion. It's a rather big expansion, but it's needed. Certainly, we've left room for growth. Right, 8,000 square feet in the original building, 64,000 square feet here.
The company says it can assemble hundreds of battle-ready men, a small private army at a moment's notice.
Teams of Blackwater independent contractors are deployed around the world.
Instead of mourning my son's death and the other 3 men, they go and they profiteer off of it. They were cutting every possible corner to make more money for them. In Iraq, most of the men aren't getting the protection. Men over there working for Blackwater are still dying. The world really needs to know what's going on over there, and we need to stop it. There has to be accountability. Right now, they are literally getting away with murder.
Пада други пut под крижем. Кланямо ти се Христе и благословлямо те.
Companies should not be permitted to operate in a war zone and not be held accountable.
تضرب الناقوس قلت لها من علم الخوف ضربا بالنوى قيسي ناديتها يا مها.
I was reading the Bible in Greek and Hebrew and studying those languages, and Hebrew sort of led naturally into Arabic. I was also interested in student loan repayment. I owed, upwards of $40,000 in student loans, which the Army promised to repay. The option available to me was to get a secret clearance and become an interrogator. And I agreed. This was pre-9/11. I didn't really expect I'd have to interrogate someone, or imagined if I did, it would have been in a conventional war where things would have been very different.
I found out in April of 2003 by a phone call. He said, well, the good news is, congratulations, you've been selected for promotion to Brigadier General. I said, well, that's good news. What could possibly be the bad news? And he said, well, the bad news is your unit, you'll be commanding, assisting the prisons experts with the restoration of prisons for all
It's
of Iraq.
intense. I'm tired.
And they're already deployed. And I said, well, can I go? And there was just a second of silence on the other end of the telephone. And he said, you want to go?
I received a telephone call from a Mr. Saleh. He said, can you help me? He said, the Americans took my money and they hurt me very bad. And I just came from Abu Ghraib. He told me of one incident where, he was stripped nude and they tied a rope to his penis with 7 or 8 other men. And then they would, these were American personnel, he's telling me, and they would push one man and all of them would fall and they'd be joking and laughing and mocking him. I would ask him, who was doing this to you, Mr. Saleh? And he would say, well, there were two types of people. One was dressed some type of military personnel wearing the army. And then the other type would be in civilian clothing. I go, what do you mean civilian clothing? He goes, like normal pants, like any normal pants and a normal shirt. So that's the first time when it struck me that there's another element being involved here in Abu Ghraib, another type of person there.
كان يوم أحد. يوم الاثنين كانت حالة من الفوضى ومن الإجراءات الأمنية الشديدة. يوم الثلاثاء اللي هو يوم اعتقالي ذهبت إلى عملي، مو عملي أنا يعني كنا في موقع عمل في منطقة الحصوة، فأني أعمل في مجال الكهرباء. تم نقلي إلى سجن أبو غريب في بداية عام 2004 باليوم الأول من الشهر الأول لعام 2004. كان أكو شخص مدني واقف بيتأمر يعني ياخذون أوامرهم من عنده اللي هم الشركات الأمنية. أدخلوني إلى الزنزانة، كبلوني وتم خلع ملابسي بالقوة. يعني أسلوب من أساليبهم أنه القبض التناسلي للرجل يلفون عليه حبل ويجروه هيك مثل عملية الخنق. شنو الغاية من عندها؟ شنو هاي الأبرة تضربون إياها اللي أنا هسه حاليا حتى أطفال مدى يصيرون أدي؟ شنو الداعي لأنه جيش يستعين بشركات أمنية مدنية للتحقيق مع معتقلين؟ بس أنا أقول شركتين مؤكدة، شركة تايتن وشركة CI.
When I saw the photographs for the first time, and I said to the commander of
Not
the Criminal
fast
Investigation
forwarding,
Division,
yeah.
who was showing them to me,
I want to see this shit. The beginning was a little bit much, but like, that's some fucked up shit. I don't know. Seems corrupt as fuck, but what do I know? You know? No, that's some fucked up shit. Seems very much like fucking Call of Duty fucking on steroids. Remember, I don't know if you've seen, but I was watching the Friendly Jordies, and one of his boys got sent to prison for life for being a whistleblower against America during that time. He just went to prison for life. He's like the Australian Edward Snowden. Pretty crazy.
I said, why are the translators around the prisoners? Why are the translators in the cell block? And he said, ma'am, those aren't translators. Those are khaki interrogators.
Khaki was hired by the Department of Interior out of a little town in Arizona called Sierra. And they were hired to do database work. And that contract, which was sort of a blanket contract that allowed them to do a whole bunch of different things, was used to do interrogation in Abu Ghraib. So what ostensibly was a contract to do clerical work or IT work turned out to be getting information not from a computer but from human beings in a notorious prison in Iraq. At the time of the scandals in the spring of 2004, roughly 50% of the interrogators were private contractors.
This amendment, Madam President, attempts to address what I believe is a very legitimate and serious concern that have come to light in recent days with respect to the use of, or misuse of, contractors in the treatment of detainees in Iraq. Quite simply, Madam President, this amendment would prohibit the use of contractors in interrogations of prisoners and in offensive military operations.
It just seems to me abundantly clear that we cannot hire private contractors to perform a function as inherently governmental, inherently sensitive, indeed inherently explosive, and for which there must be accountability, as is the interrogation of prisoners.
Corporations exist to make a profit, and when they're hired to do jobs, whether it's the provision of water or the interrogation of prisoners. Their job is to get as much work as possible, make as much profit as possible. Now that doesn't work in the field of intelligence, period.
You do not put personnel who do not have allegiance and 100% loyalty to America, you do not put them in sensitive key government activities like military intelligence gathering.
It creates a conflict too, because we were uncertain. We knew what our chain of command was. That was very clear, and we were forced to memorize it and follow it. But what's the khaki chain of command?
بفضل هاي الشركات السجون أصبحت معسكرات للتدريب على العنف. وفوجئت بالاعتقال، وبالفعل بعد يومين نقلت إلى سجن أبو غريب، ورفع الكيس من رأسي ووجدت نفسي أمام مجموعة عسكر مجندين ومن دول المحققين عرفت فيما بعد. مجموعة حوالي 8 أو 10 يقولون علي يضعون البندقية بأماكن حساسة بالجسم، وبالإضافة إلى الضرب. وكنت أسمع به استغاثات ناس تستغيث من تعذيب أو من ضرب وإباح كلاب.
There was a wink and a nod approach. We have these rules, you're going to follow them, but we're not going to spend that much time making sure that you're going to follow them. And if I don't know about what's going on, then I can, have plausible deniability.
The contractor is safely in an office in the United States somewhere. So no direct supervision. And to just simply say, well, I guess they got out of control. I don't know where they were taking their instructions from. It seems to excuse all of them.
I have reproduced an excerpt from the job posting as it was reprinted in the Washington Post on May 10th on the poster here behind me. And let me read it for you. It says, under minimal supervision, will assist, and goes on. Key words, under minimal supervision.
In 2003, the Pentagon essentially panicked, and a very desperate Secretary of Defense did whatever he had to do very, very quickly to try to get more intelligence. If that meant running out and hiring a bunch of contractors who didn't know what they were doing and putting them wrongly into the chain of command of military intelligence, that's what they did. They were desperate.
The contracting business in Iraq is very, very lucrative.
There was so much money being given away over there to contractors. I mean, there were jobs that didn't even need to be there. We'd go into the tent to use our internet, and the woman who would put my name down to assign me to a computer would be a civilian contractor who was making 6 figures to be over there. Why is she there? Why are we paying this woman to do this?
They threw so much money at these people they can't refuse. I mean, if you're a mechanic, you're making like 20 or 30,000. Someone offers you 100,000 a year tax-free to go to Iraq, and that's hard. I think that's really hard to refuse.
They would very often sit down with soldiers, particularly from Reserve or National Guard, and say, hey, man, what are you making, $3,000 a month over here? I make that in a week.
You would talk about how, in 8 more months, I'm going to be out of here, and I'm going to be making 140 grand.
It certainly affected retention, because I don't know why any military person would re-enlist to do the same job when they could get out of the military and make 6 times the money and do the same job.
There was a little phrase that we threw around, food for freedom, that if you wanted to get paid more, you should start eating more so that you'd get booted out for being overweight. And it's an honorable discharge, and it would boost your pay, your net worth by about 5 times if you were to do such a thing. And it worked.
جو علينا الامريكان بال11:30 بالليل واخذوني انا وابني. فابني دا يقول لهم هذه امي. فاجى الامريكي جابني من ايدي حق قال لي جو سكو هيك حيل صح. فقال لي اعترفي اذا متى اعترفين على الارهابيين وياك راح اوديك بمكان يعتدون عليك ويلعبون بيش طوب الامريكا. راح سلك ابكي انت وابنك.
I was getting really angry. I mean, especially because I knew that a lot of these prisoners that I saw with these injuries from abuse and torture really hadn't done anything. They weren't part of the insurgency. They were just picked up for no reason at all.
We were interrogating taxi drivers and like pizza delivery guys, It was just, we called him Average Ahmed.
Using methods such as torture and also using people who are not qualified to do this job has resulted in bad information and therefore problems for national security and for the soldiers, because you're getting information that's no good.
In a lot of areas where you start noticing a lot of, a lot of hostility against American soldiers, it's not because the soldiers are doing a lot of wrong things. It's because sometimes maybe the communication that has been transmitted to them has been transmitted to them wrongly, unprofessionally, and serving someone else's interest. These are Titan linguists. They were hired by Titan.
Titan has long-standing contracts providing critical information technology and support services for some of our nation's most valuable defense assets. Under a contract with the U.S. Army's Intelligence and Security Command, Titan has over 4,000 linguists that provide invaluable mission-critical services.
Titan is the company that provides the linguists and continues to provide the linguists throughout Iraq. They're the biggest provider in this business.
They were so desperate to get people to fill these positions as translators that they were just hiring anybody that approached somebody and obviously had command of the English language in addition to the Arabic language or Farsi or whatever it may have been.
There was people who maybe spoke the language, but it was broken, but could not read it or write it. And I'm talking about English here. And they were hired. They were never given a test. Nobody was given a test. I was never given a test. The test I was given was a phone conversation for a minute. Military trusted us. Military trusted Titan. Titan came and said, here's a linguist that we have hired, we have trained, tested, we put our trust in, he passed a security clearance, or he got some kind of a clearance. You should trust him in everything he does, everything he says.
I did work closely with Titan all year long while I was in Iraq. And I can say that a lot of the translators weren't trained at all. I don't know what kind of training they received, but they were terrible at it.
There was no managers, there was no supervision, there was no training, there was no follow-up. There was whatsoever a system of evaluation of what linguists are doing or what they're doing, even a system of if these linguists really translating or doing, or really are they translating or giving their opinions. Titan made the big bucks and hired the most incompetent people most of the time, did not follow up with them, did not really know what they were doing. Probably as a result, a lot of people got hurt, a lot of people got killed, American lives got lost.
What's up? What's up, scientists? What's going on?
TikTok scientist says, Happy Jimmy Duxing Day.
Well, it's if we're counting Australia, then, it's today in Australia, we're good. Same day, somewhere. Oh, today, September.
TikTok scientist says, no, the 20th, same day as Million March for Children.
Oh my God. We getting some TikTok scientist reruns. Bruh. I wasn't even here for that. Bro, I'm covering the clock up the whole time. Fucking the bag on this footage. What am I doing? Put that over there. There we go. Now we got a reference. Actually, let's put that up there where it belongs. Make it a little smaller. It's too big. We don't need it that big. We need it like that big. There we go.
TikTok scientist says, another year, the same, lol.
Shit, he said shit. Oh my god.
TikTok scientist says, my lawyer will be speaking with Samantha. Just needs to get her cat food first.
Bruh. What's up, beautifully broken? What a fucking day. Happy Jimmy Doxing Day, everybody. Wish I had a fucking party popper for everybody. According to him, he wins because... One sec. We got a nice Jimmy quote here from... When was it? Yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Bro, what is going on? This new iOS is broken, bro. Just kidding. No, I love it. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Holy f... Okay, one sec. There we go. Happy Jimmy Doxing Day, everybody.
Completely shut down his creative process that he was gaining joy from, because I just have to watch him, and now he's gone back to making videos, right? So like that means I win. I am always going to win. I want to let everybody know that I'm always going to win.
Right. Cool, Jimmy. We all believe you, Jimmy. You're like the coolest person I've ever met. I wish I was as cool as Jimmy, everybody. Don't you wish you were as cool as Jimmy? I'm just joking. Jimmy's a loser. I can say whatever I want over here. I don't have to whisper. He's like, oh, yes, we banished him to a different platform. No. I'll be here for a bit. I'll be back on TikTok. Tip in the description if your heart desires. Has anyone seen Laura around? I don't even know who you mean by like Laura Lee. Yeah, she was here earlier. Or Laura G. I don't know. Who the fuck you? Like, what the fuck you coming in here looking for Laura for? We're celebrating Happy Jimmy Doxing Day. That's what we were doing. I don't know. No, I'm not even. We were just taking a little break. We're watching this fucking documentary. Then TikTok scientists came in here, fucked it all up. My laptop is just like running overtime right now, so I'm gonna fix that. Where's... Did I like lose? There we go. What is even happening right now? Why is this gonna be so difficult sometimes? Okay, there we go. Boom. Boom. Bro, why is it? I think I just have like way too many things open, so gonna close some of those. Like Jesus, I have so much shit open right now. It's I feel like my desktop is not a cluster. Fuck. Never mind. There's another one. Let me just keep closing some shit for another couple minutes. Just kidding. Okay. There we go.
Really translating or doing, or really are they translating or giving their opinions? Titan made the big bucks and hired the most incompetent people most of the time. Did not follow up with them. Did not really know what they were doing. Probably as a result, a lot of people got hurt. A lot of people got killed. American lives got lost because someone wants to make money and wants to have a fat check in his pocket.
Here you have the MPs who engaged and participated in horrific conduct are being held accountable for their actions. Why aren't the U.S. contractors, the civilian corporate personnel, why aren't they being held accountable for their actions?
If you are a U.S. soldier and you hurt an Iraqi civilian and that becomes known, you will be court-martialed. But if you are a U.S. contractor and you kill an Iraqi civilian and that becomes known, you will be sent home. And then you can come back the following week and you can work for a different contractor.
So here we have the two ringleaders of abuse at Abu Ghraib very explicitly saying, in many cases, what was happening was they were being ordered to abuse these detainees by civilian contractors. These guys are in prison for 18 years total between the two of them, and there's no contractors in prison.
My question is in regards to private military contractors. The Uniform Code of Military Justice does not apply to these contractors in Iraq. I asked your Secretary of Defense a couple months ago what law governs their actions. Mr.
I was going to ask him. Go ahead. Help.
Well,
I pick up the phone and say, Mr. Secretary, I got an interesting question. This is what delegation, I don't mean to be dodging the question, although it's kind of convenient in this case, but never. I really will. I'm going to call the Secretary and say, you brought up a very valid question, and what are we doing about it? That's how I work. Thanks. Yes, ma'am.
Are any of these allegations being investigated?
My recollection is, and I think it's okay to say this, is that the investigations are ongoing, and that time will tell.
Somehow these contractors have leveraged power in Washington, and the government feels like they want to protect these people. They want to protect the security of these contracts, and they want to protect them from prosecution.
Most of the managers and most of the people we dealt with working for Titan were ex-military officers, high-ranking officers.
All major military contractors have a board of directors and a senior management that is composed of senior retired military personnel. And this allows them to be able to go get contracts.
Washington is a phenomenally incestuous place. Retired senior officers, Capitol Hill staffers, and defense industry. You know, the usual suspects come back again and again.
Top recipients of money from Halliburton, Titan, Cockey, and Blackwater
are the two chairmen of the committees in Congress and the House of Representatives that oversee military matters and spending.
The major corporations, these cartel and monopoly corporations, they've figured out how to legally buy influence.
I would echo the words of Pope John Paul II. Profit by itself is not a sufficient motivation for business endeavors. You're operating in the realm of greed. You're not operating in the realm of morality.
I went to Iraq and came back. What was so heartbreaking was that I found that we weren't always the good guys, and it was very disillusioning for me because I'd grown up with this like dream of America, what America was. And when I saw that dream at Abu Ghraib and what it had become, I felt heartbroken. I felt like I didn't know what it was to be an American because I saw what I had thought America was, destroyed and disgraced.
When they went into Iraq, a subsidiary of Halliburton, which is KBR, Kellogg Brown and Root, was on the scene immediately. They were logistics people, they were mechanics, and they were also contracted to begin the process of
See that's what they should have at the Trump golf
was
course.
on the scene immediately.
You see that shit? That's what they needed at Trump's golf course. Can't fucking protect a golf course, my fucking ass. Like, holy fuck.
Logistics people, they were mechanics, and they were also contracted to begin the process of setting up shower points, laundry facilities, mess halls, dining facilities, really searching for any opportunity to take on what would be traditionally military roles.
When you use these contractors, you gain a lot of efficiencies, you gain a lot of expertise and specializations.
It was devastating because they took over my job. I ended up doing nothing. We had to train these KBR contractors how to fix these radios. We had to walk them through all the basic steps. But when I could be actively becoming a better soldier and becoming more proficient in my job, instead I'm going to sit up on guard duty to wait around while KBR contractors are doing the job that I had to train them to do. Across the board, people lost their jobs. Quartermaster companies, mechanic, any logistics soldiers were involved with, their jobs were outsourced to KBR.
If you don't know KBR, you would have never been to Iraq, because KBR is everywhere in Iraq.
You have hundreds, if not thousands, of these trucks driving north and south on these roads every day, bringing supplies to other military bases. Most of the people who were driving for Kellogg Brown and Root were foreign workers. They were from Pakistan and Nepal, India. Sometimes there would be Americans driving the trucks, U.S. civilians.
I heard about the job through another truck driver friend in Calexico, California. We were sitting there waiting for a load, and he told me this was his last load, and he was going overseas. From there, you know, I sent my resume in. I thought I was really going to be doing a lot of reconstruction in Iraq, as far as, well, I could see me hauling fuel maybe to a place that had loaders and dozers, you know. We never went to go be in a battle or fight a fight. We went to take care of our families and make some money to reconstruct Iraq.
Tony and I met in '79 at a Halloween party. It was kind of a blind meeting, and we're married less than a year later. His brother was in the Navy, and so he always wished that he had done something like that. But he's just a good old boy.
He thought it was such a great cause to go and help rebuild, and got a job with Halliburton, and he was going to go drive a truck in Iraq. Within a month, he was there.
Bro, what? I don't even know what's going on right now. What the fuck, bruh? She's been frozen on that screen forever. What is even happening? Why is it doing that? I hate this shit. It's probably a good thing for the channel in the long run, you know. We're learning. Fuck, man, why did it do that? That was some bullshit. Did it fix it yet? Like, goddamn, bruh. Jesus Christ.
I was 15 when I met Steve, first time. A good friend of ours introduced us at a fair they had, and we hit it off. He got out of the fiberglass business in Michigan and eventually ended up truck driving. Steve decided to go over there to get us financially set for not only retirement, but to, help 3 kids go through college. He would take on anything if he thought that it would benefit his family. He wasn't military. He was non-combatant. He was a driver. He went over there to help rebuild Iraq. And that's what he wanted to do.
When I woke up early that morning, it was about, I'd say about 4:30 a.m. We had to be out by our trucks by 7 a.m. And we already knew what we were going on our mission. We were told at 7 p.m. the night before on the 8th of April. The first things we do was very normal. It was just routine behaviors. Just go ahead and do a pre-check. Go ahead and preventive maintenance and check your oil and check your air in your tires and your fuel tank. And
the soldier that was sketching a map with his boot in the gravel next to his vehicle, well, some of us saw part of it, some of us didn't.
Well, nobody ever told us why. Nobody told us what was going on, and they said the roads were red, and I wasn't sure what red meant.
We left the post nearing 11 o'clock, 10:40, 11 o'clock in the morning in there somewhere, and headed on our way to Baghdad.
We were going down the road, and we got pretty close to I believe the Abu Ghraib prison, and all of a sudden the traffic, there's no traffic. And right about then, bullets came from everywhere.
It sounded like we were in a hailstorm. It was like when you were a kid, we used to make popcorn in a pressure cooker. The temperature comes up and begins to pop.
They were coming in through my doors. They were hitting my tanker. They were hitting my windshield. They were coming in through hitting the engine. You could hear them come in through one door, hit the other door where they lodged in, and they were just coming in everywhere.
And then it reached a crescendo and just seemed like it never stopped after that.
And then I could hear the men crying on the radio, yelling out for help. I'm burning, help me, please don't let me die in Iraq.
Truck behind me, his trailer caught fire, and he overturned and was trapped inside the truck and burned up.
I heard one yelling and screaming and until he stopped.
Friends that I'd promised before that, if they broke down or something happened, I wouldn't leave them. I hear them screaming, I'm hit, help me, please, I don't want to die here.
I was completely saturated with blood, and my pants were soaked with blood, my shirt was soaked with blood.
It was just absolutely just sheer terror. Just absolutely, positively horrifying. And I still still have that shaky sort of thing in me. It's like sitting here right now, it's like I'm still there.
The mutilated bodies of 4 people were found west of Baghdad, near an area where a U.S. fuel convoy was attacked on Friday. After that attack, 7 Americans were reported missing, including contractors working for Halliburton, a company that supplies fuel and other supplies to U.S. troops. The families were notified today of the discovery. Halliburton did release a statement saying, quote, "We at Halliburton are saddened to learn of these deaths and are working with authorities so the families can begin the grieving and healing process." 2 U.S. soldiers are missing, and also Thomas Hamill from Macon, Mississippi, American
Saturday, April 10th. One day after I got the first phone call from Halliburton and KBR. Steve, when you get back to base, please call me. I got a call yesterday saying that you were missing after heavy fighting and more attacks. You and 9 others.
To sharpen. And what are these rocks called again? Forgot. Dad told us, but I don't remember. Like shale?
I'm not sure. I just turned 50, and it's hard to have to, reinvent yourself like you're a teenager again. When all your dreams go and things go out the tube. So, he was definitely below my life. He firmly believed that KBR and Halliburton were going to keep him safe. I mean, he truly did. He was very positive about that. Right up to the end, he believed he would be safe.
He wasn't much of a writer, that's for sure. His journal's empty.
My dad had just told me he was going to work for Halliburton, how big they were and how they were there to help rebuild.
Somebody knew that they sent these wonderful men out there. How can they do that? These men went to do the right thing. So, bottom line, they were totally taken advantage of.
Well, I trusted the company. I trusted them. This is a Fortune 500 company. I just don't believe they would send me down a road that was closed or was going to have hostile activity for sure. That didn't even cross my mind.
And U.S. forces here are saying openly they're braced for more terror attacks, more
We had a significant anniversary, the fall of Baghdad. We had a Christian holiday, and they converged to create what was an obvious day of danger. Halliburton and KBR had news from multiple sources, including multiple sources in the military, that the roads that day were under active combat operations and were black, closed, and or red. No civilians.
There were sitting ducks out there in military trucks on that day.
They told us we couldn't wear camouflage or anything that made us look like military. The point was clear that we were not soldiers and we were not to behave like soldiers.
He couldn't even wear a camouflage shirt on base, let alone driving a military fuel truck out in, the desert where there was a war around him.
Why would they send this convoy in camouflage trucks down that road in the middle of battle?
It's about contracts, I believe, fulfilling a contract and replacing us if we died. There's a lot of different contracts being offered out there, and Kellogg Brown & Root wants most of them. If they could have them all, they would take them all. And they wanted to continue doing business with the Army, whatever the risks were.
It was nothing but the money. There's no duty, honor, country among anyone at Halliburton KBR.
Halliburton, KBR, some of these other firms over there are staying over there and continuing to make profits, big money. And people are just, at the cost of human life.
Their contract with the Army provided them literally billions of dollars of revenue every year, that the contract profit and the contract profit that they made became more important than the lives of the men that they hired.
I think we're talking about what's right and the fact that you sacrificed our loved ones for your profit.
KBR kill, bag, and replace people. They tried to do it with us, and they killed my friends, as far as I'm concerned, and they tried to kill me. I know they know.
This is a case about Halliburton and KBR trying to make a profit at time of war and using civilians in an improper fashion.
Halliburton is in charge of seeing that these men and their employees are safe. Sent these men out on April 9th and they knew that there was more than a good chance that they would be killed.
When people talk about, they gave their lives or this thing, and I can assure you that they did not. They were stolen from them. They were screaming and didn't want to go. And there wasn't anything greater, glorious about the whole obscene ordeal. They didn't die. They didn't pass away. They were murdered.
KBR got billions of dollars worth of contracts in Iraq without a bidding. Halliburton got the government contract without competitive bidding.
In the case of Halliburton, most of the contracts they've received have been sole source contracts, which means they're either given the contract, it's just offered to them, or they're the only people that bid on it. A lot of federal officials will defend this, saying that this is the only company that could do the work.
Conservatives, especially, who favor a free market system, should be outraged about the degenerate state of the lack of competition in the defense industry.
Bunentine Greenhouse, a top contracting officer at the Army Corps of Engineers, alleges favoritism and rule-breaking.
I walked into a process that was corrupt, that was geared toward preferential treatment to KBR. KBR was pre-selected. The duration of the contract was predetermined. Most blatant abuse that I had experienced in my contracting career.
The American way is competition. And I cannot sufficiently stress that in defense industry, when it comes to the big programs, there's not competition. It's monopoly and cartel behavior. It is corrupt, it is corrupting, it is corrosive to our national defense.
When we showed up, there's nothing there. Our customer is a private coming off patrol who wants midnight chow, and we're there for him.
We're doing stuff that you'll never read about in the paper.
Everyone had to make a big adjustment over there. I helped with that.
We got 80,000 troops out of the sand in 3 months. It was awesome.
I'm Ian Dolan.
Angela Stevens.
Kirk Hampson. My name is Jay Patterson, and I'm proud to work for Halliburton.
My name's Ben Carter, and within the first week of being in Iraq, I knew that that wasn't going to be the company that I wanted to be with. Halliburton was hired to provide clean, safe cooking, cleaning, shower water for the military. One of Halliburton's employees saw something wiggling in the water in his toilet bowl. So I went and tested the water in our water storage tanks. There was no chlorine in them, none. The water we showered in every single day.
I love how it censors his first name. That's funny. Really? Damn.
Extremely contaminated. And when I talk about contaminated water, every single day, storage tanks, there was no chlorine in them, none. The water we showered in every single day was extremely contaminated.
That's disgusting.
And when I talk about contaminated water, I'm saying malaria, typhus, giardia, cryptosporidium. I mean, the list is really, really long.
Halliburton is accused by its own employees of exposing troops to contaminated water in Iraq.
When I tried to notify the troops that they may be exposed to a serious health risk, I was told that the military was none of my concern.
They were only concerned with making a profit and didn't care how it may affect the troops. Of the 67 water treatment plants that Halliburton run, 63 of them weren't providing safe water. And the Marines are showering in it every single day.
That's disgusting.
I was there to help them. There's a lot of soldiers over there. They might come home without a bullet wound, but there's a lot of them that are going to come home with pathogens in their blood because of Halliburton. And they don't even know to get tested for it unless somebody tells them. And I'm sure Halliburton is not going to be the company to tell them.
When I joined Halliburton, I knew I was going to work on some big things. We put out a few fires at work. Once ran into a small challenge of getting some supplies to our troops. But the biggest thing, serving our troops good old American food. Right feel just a little closer to home.
How come you don't go to the chow hall? How much time you spend online?
At least
an hour.
An
hour for food?
An hour in the sandstorm for food.
Tell me about that line over there. What line am I looking at right now?
That line is for the chow hall, where you eat.
Several times, dining halls were attacked. All it takes is one Iraqi that's an insurgent, and because they knew what times we were going to eat every day, they knew when to expect to hit. And that happens because KBR won't go to a 24-hour feeding schedule where they just always have food ready. They won't do it because it saves them money. Because they get paid by how many soldiers they feed, not by how many soldiers they save.
Feeding the troops. The Pentagon has found some serious problems with Halliburton's work on that contract as well.
Pentagon auditors found that a Halliburton contract to provide food and housing for American troops had a staggering $1.8 billion in unsupported costs.
It was all a scam. Halliburton was charging $45 for a six-pack can of like Coke or Pepsi that they give us and the military free in a mess hall.
Now, these sodas were made right there in the desert. It's not as if they were brought over from the United States. These sodas were made with Arabic wraps, you know, Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, whatever, right there in the desert. So it's not as if they had an exorbitant transportation rate.
They had the little mobile units that we had to put our clothes in, like a net duffel bag. Halliburton charged the government $100 for every bag of clothes they washed.
Whenever we got our laundry back, it felt worse than when we turned it in. Everything was still grimy. I stopped taking my laundry into KBR, and instead, I was washing it in the sink. and I was told by my chain of command that I was not allowed to wash my laundry on my own. I had to take it to KBR to have it washed, even though we all knew that they were doing a horrible job because they get $99 a bag for a bag of laundry that I could do at home for $3.
A legal way of stealing from the government or taxpayers' money.
The Pentagon audit released last night that found the company is overcharging taxpayers.
$99?
Halliburton Company billed taxpayers for its contract work in Iraq. It is your money that's being used.
These contracts are managed under a system called Cost Plus, which is the opposite of trying to save money. It guarantees that everything that you buy will be paid back and reimbursed if it's seen as justified, and you'll be given a profit in addition.
A cost-plus arrangement that critics say leaves little incentive to save. The more taxpayer dollars Halliburton spends, the more Halliburton makes.
Cost Plus encourages you to run up the cost of a program because you are going to get a percentage of the end result. And so there's no incentive to stay at Motel 6. Stay at the Ritz-Carlton in Qatar, folks.
The place that they chose for orientation in Kuwait was a huge resort set right on the ocean. Had, I think, 3 swimming pools.
So it was better than the Wyndham in
What the
Texas or the
fuck?
Ritz. It was fancied up.
Bruh.
floors, mahogany woodwork. It's just
So
beautiful.
late.
They had sea-doos, jet skis they could use.
You could go and rent
Tired.
wave runners and go out and play in the water.
We were renting wave runners, and we got paid by the hour to do it.
I'm good.
I was
I'm
told
good.
this.
I'll
Don't
survive.
question it.
How much longer?
Enjoy it.
Several government agencies are currently
it's
investigating
only
if
20
Halliburton
minutes, I'm
overcharged for work already completed in Iraq.
They had 5-star meals catered in every day.
It was so lavish. Rows of vegetable platters, beef platters, fish platters.
It's a cost plus contract. KBR looked at it. The more money we spend, that's the more money we get in our pockets.
We had it made over there compared to the military. I mean, those guys were living in tents, and we had air-conditioned private hooches.
The tents that we were staying in were completely moldy, and everybody was getting sick with respiratory infections. They're getting paid millions of dollars. Why can't they even give us a tent that doesn't make us sick?
I'm like getting allergies just looking at it.
Sleeping on these little cots out in the middle of the desert. While these KBR executives are driving these $40,000 vehicles.
They and their secretaries are driving at least a $30,000 to $40,000 vehicle. This secretary lives in this complex, eats her meals in this complex, has her laundry delivered to her, has no reason to go anywhere at any time, but has a brand new top-of-the-line Ford or Chevy pickup with everything imaginable on it that you could put on it.
Chrome rims and leather interior and CD players and all these extra amenities that, you don't really need in wartime.
Why do they need an H2 Hummer? Why do they have Cadillac Escalades in Iraq for Halliburton managers? What is the purpose?
One invoice that I saw was for about $7,000 for 1 month for a SUV on a lease. It was a 3-year contract. Comes up to roughly $250,000. A vehicle that you and I could purchase at the local dealership for probably top of the line $45,000. And the taxpayer paid $250,000 and never did own the vehicle.
America.
They got the wrong equipment, ordered the wrong stuff, computers still in boxes, new vehicles. They'd push them out in what they called burn pits. And they just set it on fire, claim it as a loss, get more money for
This
the
reminds
right
me of being
equipment
an
or the right
RV
stuff they
tech.
needed.
Why would you need to order somebody else's wrong equipment just because somebody pays you to do it? And you burn it and destroy it.
Is
You got brand new trucks over there, and there's not even oil filters. So when the motor blows, what do? Buy a new
oh
truck
my god.
and build the government.
$75,000 truck. They wouldn't even have a spare tire to fit it. And we had to blow it up. And they didn't care Halliburton did because the government's paying for it.
We knew that every day that a vehicle broke down, we would have to destroy it. And these are maybe $80,000 vehicles, maybe $100,000. They're expensive trucks. We're burning fuel in front of Iraqi people. We're not really doing anything to help, and we just have to follow the orders.
As a truck driver in the mail department, they'd send me to these camps with 1 bag of mail. That's risking my life just to deliver 1 bag of mail.
Escort entire convoys where every flatbed truck was empty.
The allegations come from 12 truckers complaining that the company was wasting government money by running empty trucks on the convoys and billing the government for them.
It seems senseless to travel up and down the road and taking a chance of losing your life when there wasn't no purpose in it. When you went up empty, you
That's
I went
ridiculous.
to make a better life for my family. I always have a roof over their head and not have to worry about where their next meal's coming from.
It wasn't that fun with him gone. We missed him and all that stuff.
Bruh.
I couldn't do stuff with him.
Didn't have anybody to throw a baseball with, did you? Or did they take you fishing? Your mom was scared you'd fall in and get drowned, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I went over there and I got my health messed up and got shot, bricked, knocked out, and everything else. I felt like not only I can make a decent living for my family and better myself, but I'll be doing something for my country. You know what I'm saying? I'm supplying the military and these guys where they can eat and help fight when we have to. But then, you know, you're looking and you're going up and down the road empty. Halliburton's charging the government for every camp they go by. And your buddy's getting killed for no cause at all. Not even as much as a Band-Aid on the truck. That's how Halliburton was making their killing, making their money. Is a legal way of stealing from the American citizen and the military.
Halliburton is accused of hundreds of millions of dollars in improper charges.
Pentagon auditors have found potential overcharges of $61 million.
Now the numbers are apparently even larger than previously thought.
Halliburton's unreasonable and unsupported bills exceed $1 billion.
If anybody's overcharging the government, we expect them to repay that money.
It's been proven so many times that Halliburton has overbilled them, and then the Pentagon still pays them anyway. I don't know who it is that is protecting Halliburton. I don't understand why the military would protect them.
If you look at their board of directors, they've got contacts in the State Department, contacts in the military, people who work for Halliburton, once worked for the military.
When you hire top Pentagon officials, when the vice president is your former CEO, you're going to get the access that other people don't.
It is reportedly not a coincidence that Vice President Dick Cheney's old company got a huge contract to help rebuild Iraq. Time magazine said it has gotten a hold of a Pentagon email saying Cheney's office coordinated Halliburton's multi-billion-dollar deal.
All the revelations came out about Halliburton getting all these fancy no-bid contracts. There was not a single hearing in the Congress, House or Senate, about the mysterious bidding processes around Iraq and Halliburton. That's ridiculous.
The oversight responsibility belongs to the United States Congress. It belongs here, and it's not happening here.
The Senate should spend a little less time advertising allegations of wrongdoing and spend more time talking about what is going right.
If anybody believes that the contracts handed to Halliburton for Iraq
Oh, Jeff
weren't,
Sessions.
the moral equivalent of insider trading, man, I've got an ocean in the middle of Kansas I'd like to take you surfing on. It's just phenomenal. I mean, of course they were insider deals. Of course it was payback for old friends and political supporters and campaign contributors.
They're very strategic in how they allocate their political contributions. You'll see most of their money going to the committees that oversee military matters and funding for it.
When you pay influence money in the form of campaign contributions, it means people look the other way.
The U.S. Army announced today it signed a new contract with a unit of the huge contracting firm Halliburton.
The military fights for the guy next to you or the guy in the next foxhole who you've trained with, slept with, ate with, spent all your time living with and working with. From the corporate side, it's a question of where's the next contract coming from?
Halliburton stock has quadrupled in value since the war began, and taxpayers are being ripped off.
People in charge say we want to give to contractors because they can do it cheaper. Well, lo and behold, the evidence is now coming in and it isn't cheaper, and we're not actually getting what we're paying for.
We were writing contracts with Halliburton and others to do things that Iraqis could have done better and far, far cheaper. And by the way, we would have gotten Iraqis off the street and given them jobs.
Let us stop the war profiteers. Let us say no to them, and let us say, if you continue to, you're going to go to jail because that's where you belong. My amendment would stop them.
There hasn't been a single major piece of contracting oversight legislation passed by the Congress since the war began. Not even a significant amendment has been passed, despite all the enormous amounts of fraud and waste and abuse.
There needs to be a special committee established, a bipartisan committee, to take a look at waste and fraud and abuse.
The amendment is not agreed to.
The amendment is not adopted.
And the Leahy amendment is not agreed to.
If I had the heads of Khaki, of Titan, of KBR, let's say, what would Thomas Jefferson have to say if he saw the level of profit that had been included in war fighting? What would
feel
Benjamin
like it's
Franklin say?
over.
The government of the people, by the people, and for the people is really of, by, and for the companies that are getting the contracts. And that is not the American people.
Raytheon, Parsons, and DHP are
I
not
didn't know
Americans,
that.
I know it. Their greed
It's a
goes
fun
against their
fact.
We have more and more money
We're a
going
learning
out to these
channel.
companies and less people watching the federal piggy bank.
We need greater oversight in this war, even more than in past wars, because this war has been privatized to a greater extent than any other war in history.
I voted for some of these people. Okay?
Jesus Christ. That was a lot. I feel like next time I watch a documentary like that, I need a little bit more energy. I'm like, ugh. Been awake for a long time. And that was a lot. Like, goddamn. Some interesting facts in there that I did not know. Like the fact that they were hauling empty vehicles. Fucking capitalism. Goddamn capitalism. Oh, America. Alright, I'm shutting it down. I'm tired as fuck. Peace out. Thanks for watching. And hooking me up with the some fun facts along the way. Beautiful. Learned a lot. Peace the fuck out.